Welcome back to Chat Like a Native, the deep dive, where we try to help you move past just knowing English and start really sounding natural when you speak.
Yeah, it's that common hurdle, isn't it? For so many intermediate learners,
Yeah,
you understand perfectly, you know, the grammar rules, maybe backwards and forwards.
right.
But then when you speak, something's still off. You
Yeah.
sound a bit like you're reading, maybe a bit stiff, or, like that textbook example.
Exactly. That's the exact pain point we're tackling today. And it's not about learning tons of new words. This is all about delivery, how to sound smoother, more engaging, and honestly, just clearer to native speakers.
And we've looked into a really powerful, very practical technique for this. It's designed specifically to bridge that gap, and interestingly, it uses something you probably see every day: news headlines.
These headlines,
Yeah, it sounds maybe a bit simple, but this method can be a real shortcut. It helps you internalize that natural rhythm, the ups and downs of the voice, the prosody, and just the general flow.
which counterintuitively makes you easier to understand, even if you think focusing on rhythm isn't the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The main technique is called shadow reading. Can you define that for us? What exactly is shadow reading? It sounds maybe more complex than just listen and repeat.
Yeah, it sounds a bit intense maybe, but shadow reading or just shadowing, it's essentially listening to someone speaking.
Mhm.
And you repeat what you hear either simultaneously, like right along with them, or immediately after, just a fraction of a second behind.
Like you're their shadow or echo.
An echo is a great way to think about it. You're tracking them in real time.
Okay, but wait. If I'm trying to echo someone in real time and I stumble or I miss a word or I just fall behind,
Yeah.
my instinct is to stop, right? Go back, start over. How does that help if you're constantly messing up?
See, that's kind of the magic of it. The goal, especially at first, isn't perfect word-for-word accuracy. The real goal is to force your brain and your mouth to work together, like instantly.
Mhm.
Because you're trying so hard to keep up, you literally don't have time to pause and think, okay, what does that mean in my language? Or, is that the right verb tense?
Ah, I see. You bypass the analysis paralysis.
Exactly. It pushes you out of that mental translation zone and straight into just the sound, the rhythm, the flow of the English itself.
Okay, that makes sense. If your brain can't stop to translate, it has to rely on, well, on the patterns, the sound flow. And that sound flow, that brings us to prosody and pacing. We hear these terms a lot. Why are they so critical? Like really critical for being understood?
Well, prosody is basically the music of speech. It's
Yeah.
everything that isn't just the dictionary meaning. So intonation, your voice going up and down
Right.
with words you emphasize or stress, the rhythm and speed, and crucially, where you pause. If your speech is just flat, monotone, or if you pause in weird places, like right in the middle of an idea, listeners really struggle. They find it hard to follow your meaning, even if your grammar is spot on.
It's those little signals, isn't it? Like we've talked about before, saying I need coffee is totally different from I need coffee. Just changing the stress changes the whole point.
Precisely. And pacing is just as vital. It's about grouping words together into chunks that make sense. Think about news anchors or really good public speakers. They manage their prosody very carefully because how they say something is part of the message itself. So when you train your voice to copy that kind of delivery, your own English just becomes so much clearer, so much more engaging.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Why headlines? Why not stick with the usual textbook dialogues? You know, the ones with perfect grammar but kind of stilted conversations. Why focus specifically on news headlines for this shadow reading practice?
Right. Well, there are 4 really big advantages to using headlines as your training material. The first one is they're short and focused. Usually a headline is just one punchy sentence, maybe in a phrase.
Right.
That makes it much more manageable to repeat without getting totally lost or overwhelmed.
Right. Bite-sized chunks. Makes sense. What's number 2?
They use real, current language. This is huge. You're practicing with the vocabulary people are actually using now. You get idioms, current phrasing, sentence structures that are relevant today.
Yeah.
You avoid those, slightly weird, contrived sentences you sometimes find in textbooks.
The pen is on the table.
Yeah,
Not very useful.
exactly. So you're learning stuff that actually sounds fresh and is
Yeah.
useful. That has to be more motivating too, right?
Absolutely. Which I guess leads to the next point.
Yeah. The third reason, headlines are fantastic for practicing emphasis. Good headlines are designed to grab your attention. They naturally contain some kind of tension or highlight the most important point immediately.
Ah, so the stress pattern is usually really obvious.
Exactly. Gives you a very clear target for your own prosody, unlike maybe a more neutral sentence. And the fourth point is that motivation we touched on. It just feels more real, more useful to practice by reading the news aloud in English than repeating random, disconnected sentences.
That mindset shift, yeah, from feeling like you're doing language exercises to feeling like you're actually using the language for something real, that's powerful.
Definitely.
Now, to really get that native-like flow, you mentioned something specific earlier, chunking. What does that mean in terms of speaking?
Chunking. This is absolutely key for rhythm and fluency. A chunk is just a group of words that naturally stick together in speech.
Like phrases.
Exactly. Things like collocations, words that often appear together, or fixed expressions, are just parts of a sentence that form a single idea. The goal is to say that whole group of words as one smooth unit.
Instead of word pause, word pause.
Right. You want to avoid that choppy word-by-word delivery. Think about phrases like in the past few years, or take a stand, or make progress on.
Yep.
A native speaker doesn't usually say in the past few years. They say in the past few years, almost like one long word, often with the little words like the and few kind of swallowed or unstressed.
Right, they glide together.
Exactly. So when you're shadowing, you're not just mimicking the sounds of individual words. You're trying to copy how the speaker groups those words, the rhythm of the chunks.
Wow, okay. That actually changes how you have to think, doesn't it? You have to start processing the English in these chunks, not word by word.
It does. And once you start thinking and hearing in chunks, your own speech naturally starts to flow that way too. It becomes much smoother, much faster, much more like native speech. It builds fluency on top of just accuracy.
Okay, this sounds amazing, but maybe a little daunting. Let's get practical. How does someone actually do this? Can you walk us through the step-by-step method for practicing with a headline?
Absolutely. There's a clear 7-step progression you can follow for each headline you practice. Step 1 is just preparation. Choose your headline, keep it short to start, maybe 10 to 14 words max. Like, global temperatures reach new highs across continents. Simple enough. But, and this is really important, make sure you understand all the key words before you even try to shadow. Look up anything you don't know.
Got it. Understand first. Step 2.
Step 2, analyze the chunks. Read the headline silently to yourself and figure out where the natural breaks are. Where would someone speaking normally pause slightly or group the words?
So for global temperatures reach new highs across continents, maybe like global temperatures reach new highs across continents.
Perfect, you're identifying those little idea groups.
Yeah.
Step 3, just listen. Find an audio recording of the headline, maybe a news clip, or even a good quality text-to-speech voice.
Okay.
Listen to it maybe 2, 3, 4 times, don't speak yet. Just absorb the speed, the pauses, where the speaker puts the stress. Really try to internalize that melody.
Internalize the melody. I like that. Okay, step 4.
Step 4, now you shadow with the transcript in front of you. Play the audio again, and this time speak along with it. Try to match the speaker as closely as you possibly can, right on their heels.
Following right behind them.
Exactly. Copy the pitch, the rhythm. Do this step maybe 2 or 3 times until you start to feel the pattern click.
Okay, getting the feel for it. Then step 5.
Step 5, shadow without the transcript. Put the text away, play the audio, and repeat just using your ears. And remember, if you miss a word or two here, don't sweat it. The main goal is keeping that prosody, that pacing, that overall flow, not perfect dictation.
Focus on the music, not just the lyrics.
Exactly. Now, step 6. This one can be a bit uncomfortable, but it's maybe the most crucial step.
Uh-oh.
Self-record and compare. Record yourself doing the shadowing, maybe the version, without the transcript. Then immediately listen back to your recording and compare it to the original audio.
Ooh. Yeah, I can imagine that's tough. Hearing yourself, it can be brutal, but necessary, I guess.
Absolutely necessary. That's where the real learning kicks in. You need to hear for yourself, where did I rush? Where did I break up a chunk incorrectly? Was my pitch too flat? Where did I sound unnatural?
And then what? Just feel bad about it.
No. Then you use that information. You identify 1 or 2 specific things to fix, and you go back, maybe repeat step 5 or even step 4, focusing on correcting those specific errors. Then record again.
Iterative improvement. Okay. And the last step, step 7.
Step 7 is simply gradually increase the difficulty. Once you feel pretty good with those short 10, 14-word headlines, try something a little longer. Maybe a headline with a slightly more complex structure, like nationwide protests erupt in Capitol after new election results. Still short, but a bit more involved.
Okay, that 7-step process sounds really clear. But you mentioned pitfalls earlier. What are the common traps people fall into when they try shadowing? Things to avoid?
Right, yeah, you can definitely misuse shadowing if you're not careful and actually end up reinforcing bad habits. The first big trap is what I call mindless mimicry.
Mindless mimicry.
Yeah, it's just repeating the sounds without really understanding the meaning or trying to go too fast before you've grasped the content. You risk sounding like a robot just copying noises. Always start slow, understand the meaning first.
Okay, understand first, then shadow. What else? What about hitting words you don't know while you're mid-flow?
That's another one. Trying to power through unknown words or pausing awkwardly to think about the mid-shadow, that just breaks the rhythm, which is the whole point.
So what should you do?
Remember step one. Understand the vocab before you start. If you do get stuck mid-shadow, honestly, the best thing is probably to just stop, look up the word quickly if you need to, and then restart the shadowing attempt fresh. Don't try to fix it on the fly.
Right, preserve the flow. Any other pitfalls?
The biggest one might be skipping step 6, neglecting the recording and feedback. It's tempting to just shadow and think, yeah, that sounds about right. But you have to compare your voice objectively to the original model. Your ear can trick you. Without that comparison, you just won't know what specific adjustments you need to make.
Okay, so record yourself. Got it. Now, for someone starting out, how often should they do this? Is it like hours a day?
Oh, definitely not. Shadowing is surprisingly tiring mentally. It requires intense focus. So short, consistent sessions are much better. Aim for maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Okay, that's manageable. And is there like a suggested progression over time?
Yeah, you could think about it in stages. Maybe week 1, focus only on short headlines, always shadow with the transcript. Maybe even find audio that's slightly slowed down if needed.
Right, baby steps.
Exactly. Then maybe by week 3, make sure you're consistently doing the recording and self-comparison step. That's non-negotiable by then.
Okay.
And then perhaps by week 5 or 6, you could start trying to shadow slightly longer sentences, maybe the first sentence or two of a news report, and really focus on doing it without the script.
So bringing it all together, what's the big picture here? What's the overall impact for a learner who sticks with this?
Well, the impact is pretty direct and, honestly, quite fast compared to other methods. You're tackling pronunciation, intonation, stress, rhythm, and pacing all at the same time in a very connected way. It fundamentally trains you to think and speak in those natural English chunks we talked about. It builds that crucial link, that coordination between your listening brain and your speaking mouth.
Which should lead to more confidence, right?
Huge confidence boost. Because you're practicing with real-world language patterns, you start to feel and sound more fluent relatively quickly.
Okay. Before we wrap up then, for our listeners who might be a bit more advanced, maybe they've tried basic shadowing before, is there a way to push this technique even further, like a final challenge?
Ooh, yes. There's something you could call prosodic prediction.
Prosodic prediction. Sounds fancy.
It's actually quite simple conceptually. Before you even hit play on the audio recording of the headline,
Yeah.
read the text yourself and actively guess. Based purely on the meaning and the likely emphasis, try to predict. Which words do I think the native speaker will stress? Where do I think the natural pauses or chunk breaks will fall?
So you're trying to anticipate the melody before you even hear it, like you're conducting the sentence in your head first.
Exactly. It forces your brain to engage with the meaning and the likely rhythm on a much deeper level before you just reactively mimic. If you can start accurately predicting the prosody,
Then you're really internalizing it.
you're truly mastering that native flow. It keeps your brain super active in the process.
That is a fantastic challenge, a really powerful way to think about it. Okay, so for everyone listening, the message seems clear. Don't be intimidated. Start small.
Just one headline.
Pick one headline today, spend maybe 10-15 minutes, walk through those steps, understand it, chunk it, listen, shadow with the text, shadow without, record yourself, compare.
And then do it again tomorrow. Consistency is key.
You really might surprise yourself how quickly your voice starts to gain that confidence, that natural rhythm and flow.
Absolutely. So yeah, give it a shot. Happy shadow reading.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.